Captain Kim Dae-ho stared at the bright dots on his screen. His ship, the New Dawn, moved slowly through space near a big gas planet. They had been looking at stars and planets for 3 months now. It was quiet work, but someone had to map the unknown areas of space. "Captain, I'm getting something strange," said Park Minna, from her seat at the communications desk. She was young but very good at her job. Her fingers moved fast over the buttons and lights. "There's a ship out there, and it's in trouble." Dae-ho walked over to look at her screen. "We're near the 4th moon. The ship is just floating there. I can see life signs, but they're getting weaker." Mina's voice was worried. "Sir, if we don't help them soon, they're going to die." Engineer Lee Sung-min looked up from his workstation. He was the smartest person on the ship when it came to fixing things. "Captain, I've never seen a ship like this before. Look at these readings. The hull isn't made of metal like ours. It's some kind of crystal material." Dae-ho thought for a moment. Earth Command had rules about meeting new alien species. The rules said to be careful, to watch and wait, to report back first. But people were dying out there. He had joined the space service to help people, not to watch them die while following rules. "Get the rescue pods ready," he said. "We're going to help them." "Sir, are you sure?" asked Lee Sung-min. "We don't know anything about these aliens. They could be dangerous. Look at those life signs." Dae-ho pointed at the screen. "They're almost gone. Whatever they are, they need help right now." The rescue took 2 hours. Dae-ho led the team himself, along with Dr. Cho Hai-jin, their medical officer, and navigator Kong Gi-woo. When they got inside the alien ship, they found something amazing. The walls were made of clear crystal that glowed with soft light. Everything was smooth and curved, like it had grown instead of being built. And the aliens themselves were incredible. They looked like walking crystals, tall and thin, with light moving through their bodies like water. There were 3 of them still alive, but barely. They were lying on crystal beds, their inner light very dim. When the humans came close, the aliens made scared musical sounds. "It's okay," Dr. Cho said softly, even though she knew they probably couldn't understand her. "We're here to help." She opened her medical kit and started checking the aliens. Her tools didn't work very well on crystal bodies, but she could see they were hurt and weak. "Captain, I need to get them back to our ship. I can't help them here." Moving. The crystal beings was hard. They were much lighter than humans, but their bodies were strange shapes. Kong Ji-woo was very gentle as he helped carry them to the rescue pods. Back on the New Dawn, Dr. Cho worked day and night to understand how to help the crystal aliens. She had to change all her medical tools to work on bodies made of living crystal instead of flesh and blood. It was the hardest job she had ever done. The other crew members helped too. When they learned that the aliens needed a special kind of light to stay healthy, Engineer Lee changed the lights in the medical room. When they found out the aliens ate liquid minerals, Cook Yang Seojin mixed up the right foods from their science supplies. The strangest thing was how the aliens talked. They made beautiful musical sounds, like singing, but very complex. It took their computer 3 days to start translating some of the simpler sounds. The first thing they learned was one alien's name. It sounded like a song, but the computer called it Harmony Between Stars. When Harmony Between Stars first tried to talk to Captain Dae-ho, it was shaking with fear. "Please, not hurt." The translation came out broken and hard to understand. Others, ... always hurt, always take. Please, Dae-ho felt sad when he heard this. These crystal people had met other space travelers before, and those meetings had been bad. "We won't hurt you," he said slowly. "We want to help. You're safe here." It took many days for the aliens to believe this. But as Dr. Cho kept working to heal them, as the crew shared their food and made the ship comfortable for crystal bodies, Harmony Between Stars began to trust them. 2 weeks later, a supply ship called the Harmony arrived. Captain Yoon Tae-young brought food and medicine for Daeho's crew. When he learned about the crystal aliens, he did something that surprised everyone. "Take half our food supplies," he told his crew. "These aliens need to get strong before they go home." "But sir, that's our food for the next 2 months," said his first officer. "Then we'll eat less," Yoon said simply. "They're guests, and guests shouldn't leave hungry." When the crystal beings were finally healthy enough to leave, their own ship had been repaired by Lee Sung-min and his team. Harmony Between Stars came to say goodbye to Captain Dae-ho. The aliens sang a long, beautiful song. The translation was simple, but powerful. "We will remember the Starwalkers, who chose kindness when they could have chosen cruelty. This memory will live in our songs forever." As the crystal ship flew away, Dae-ho watched it disappear into the stars. He had no idea that this one act of kindness would change the entire galaxy. 6 months passed after the crystal ship left the New Dawn. On the Cathara homeworld, something special was happening. The planet looked like a giant jewel floating in space, covered in crystal cities that sang with beautiful music. Harmony Between stood in the center of the great resonance hall. This was where the Cathara shared important stories with their whole world. The crystal being began to sing the story of the humans who had saved its life. The song was not like human music. It was made of light and sound together, flowing through the crystal buildings like water. Every Cathara on the planet could hear it and feel it in their crystal hearts. The song told of strange aliens who helped instead of hurt, who gave instead of took, who risked their own safety to save strangers. Many Cathara had never heard such a story before. For hundreds of years, meeting space travelers meant death and pain. The song of human kindness was so different that some thought it must be a dream, but Harmony Between Stars sang with perfect truth tones that could not lie. The story was real. Far across the galaxy, Captain Unboram was flying her cargo ship near a trade station. She carried food and supplies between human colonies. It was boring work, but someone had to do it. Her radar showed another ship coming. Close. "Unknown vessel. This is the cargo ship Morning Star," she said into her radio. "Please identify yourself." The answer came in beautiful musical tones that her computer slowly translated. "This is Cathara Trade Vessel Song of We, We have heard of your people, the ones who help. Is this true?" BORM was confused. She had never met any Cathara before. "I'm sorry, I don't understand. What do you mean?" The alien ship came closer. Through her window, Borum could see it was made of the same crystal material that Captain Kim had described in his reports. Crystal Bean appeared on her video screen. "I am Echo of Atistan Worlds," the alien said. "We heard the song of Harmony Between Stars, the song of humans who save without asking for reward." "Are you such a human?" Bjorn thought about this. "Well, I try to help people when I can. That's just normal, isn't it?" Echo of Distant Worlds made a sound like wind chimes laughing. "Not normal for space travelers. Most take what they want and leave death behind. You are very different." They talked for hours. Echo of Distant Worlds wanted to know everything about humans. Why did they help strangers? What did they gain from being kind? BORM found it hard to explain something that seemed so simple too. When they said goodbye, Echo of Distant Worlds sang a new song. "I will carry this story to other worlds. The galaxy must know about the kind Starwalkers." The story spread like ripples in a pond. Echo of Distant Worlds traded with the insect people called the Velinari. These beings looked like giant ants that walked on 2 legs. They had hard shells and many eyes, and they were very afraid of space travelers. High Queen Scar of Ancient Battles listened to the crystal being's song with clicking mandibles. Her people had been attacked by space pirates many times. Whole hive cities had been destroyed by aliens who wanted their precious metals. "This story sounds too good to be true," she clicked to her advisors. "No space travelers are kind. It is not possible. But 3 weeks later, everything changed. Engineer Han Soo-jin was fixing a communications satellite when her sensors picked up a distress call. A big ship was floating dead in space, its engines broken and life support failing. When Han's repair ship got close, she saw it was a Velinary hive ship. Through her radio, she could hear the scared clicking sounds of hundreds of insect beings inside. "This is human engineer Han Soo-jin," she said. "Your life support is failing. I'm coming aboard to help." The Velinary were terrified. They had never seen a human before, but they knew most aliens meant danger. But they were dying, so they had no choice. Han worked for 3 days straight without sleeping. She crawled through the ship's tight tunnels, fixing the air systems that kept the insect people alive. She shared her food with hungry Velinary workers and showed them how to repair their own systems. When the hive ship was working again, the Velinary queen asked Han what payment she wanted. Han looked confused. "Payment? You were in trouble." "I helped. That's what people do." The queen's many eyes went wide with shock. "You want nothing? No metal? No trade goods? No slaves?" "Of course not," Han said. "I'm just glad everyone is safe." After Han left, the queen sent messages to every Velinary hive in the galaxy. The song of harmony between stars was true. There really were kind aliens in the universe. The story kept spreading. Pilot Chen In-ho rescued a group of water-breathing aliens called depth swimmers when their exploration ship got caught in a black hole's gravity. He shared his ship's water supply to keep them alive during the long trip to safety. The depth swimmers had tentacles like an octopus and lived in underwater cities. They had always hidden from space travelers, but now they sang whale-like songs about the humans who saved them. Species after species encountered humans who chose helping over hurting. The pattern was always the same. Humans shared their food, fixed broken ships, protected the weak, and asked for nothing in return. Trade captains carried these stories from world to world, in alien bars and markets. Beings who had never met humans began to whisper about the strange new species that seemed to actually care about others. The galaxy was starting to listen, and some were beginning to hope that maybe, just maybe, the universe didn't have to be a dark and dangerous place after all. The Haven Station floated in empty space between 3 star systems. It was built by traders as a neutral meeting place where different alien species could do business safely. The station looked like a giant metal flower with crystal petals, built by many different races working together. But today, Haven Station was hosting something that had never happened before in the galaxy's history. Harmony between stars stood in the center of the great meeting hall. Around the crystal being sat representatives from 47 different alien species. There were insect people, water breathers in special tanks, flying creatures with feathers made of metal, and many others that looked so strange humans would have trouble describing them. All of them were here because of the humans. Friends of many worlds, harmony between stars, sang in the universal translation frequency. We have all heard the stories. We have all met the humans. Now we must decide what to do about this new truth in our galaxy. A large insect being with scars across her hard shell stood up. This was Hyquin Scarvancient Battles of the Velinary. Her voice came out as angry clicking sounds. "I have ruled my people for 50 years, she said. "In that time, we have been attacked by space pirates 17 times. Our cities have been bombed. Our children have been taken as slaves. Why should we trust any space travelers, even these humans?" Many other aliens made sounds of agreement. They had similar stories of pain and loss. But then a gentle voice spoke from a water tank near the wall. "Because they saved my daughter," said Deep Current Flowing, an elder of the depth swimmers. "My child's exploration pod was caught in a gravity storm. A human pilot named Chen In-ho risked his own life to pull her free. He gave her half his water supply when her recycling system broke. He asked for nothing in return. And they healed our plague added branch that reaches someward. A tree-like being whose people photosynthesize like plants. Dr. Nam Yujin worked for months to understand our biology. She created medicine that saved millions of us. When we offered her rare crystals as payment, she said helping was reward enough. More voices joined in. Each species had a story of humans who helped when they didn't have to. Humans who shared their food with hungry aliens. Humans who fixed broken ships without asking for payment. Humans who stood between the weak and those who would hurt them. High Queen, scar of ancient battles, listened to story after story. Her compound eyes reflected the lights of the meeting hall as she thought deeply. These stories are all the same, she said finally. The humans always choose to help, even when it costs them something. This is not normal behavior for space travelers. That is exactly why we are here. Harmony between stars sang. The humans have shown us something new. They have shown us that strong people can protect weak people instead of hurting them. I propose we make a promise together. A promise to help each other the way the humans help us. The hall went quiet. What Harmony Between Stars was suggesting had never been tried before. Usually, when species got strong enough to travel between stars, they became bullies. They took what they wanted from weaker species. But maybe there was another way. What kind of promise? Asked Flying Against Storm, a bird-like creature with silver feathers. A covenant, Harmony Between Stars, said. A promise that we will protect each other, that we will share our knowledge and our strength, and that the humans, who showed us this path, will help lead us. Many aliens made worried sounds. Why should the humans lead us? Asked a robot-like being whose people were made of living metal. They are new to space travel. Many of us have been exploring the stars for thousands of years. An old voice answered from the back of the room. Captain Kim Dae-ho had arrived on Haven Station that morning, along with several other human representatives. He walked slowly to the center of the hall. We don't want to lead anyone, he said in his calm voice. We just want to help. If our actions have shown that kindness works better than cruelty, then we're happy to stand with you against those who would hurt innocent people. Admiral Park Sun-young, who had been promoted after saving a colony from asteroid impacts, nodded. On Earth, we have a saying, it takes a village to raise a child. We think the galaxy is like a big village. We all need to take care of each other. The debate went on for 3 days. Some species were afraid to trust. Others worried about the cost of helping weaker neighbors. But slowly, agreement began to form. The Cathara would share their harmonic weapons technology, which could shatter enemy ships without killing the crews inside. The Velinari offered their hive-mind battle tactics that let many ships fight as one. The depth swimmers had underwater cities that could hide refugees. The tree people could grow food on dead planets. And the humans offered something just as valuable, the knowledge of how to work together without anyone being the boss. On the 4th day, the Kindred Covenant was signed. 47 species promised to protect each other and help any others who wanted to join their alliance. Captain Kim Dae-ho became the first human representative to the Covenant Council. We didn't seek this responsibility, he told the assembled aliens as he signed the crystal document. But if kindness really can beat cruelty, then we'll stand with all of you. As the representatives returned to their home worlds, each carried the same message. The galaxy had changed. The weak no longer had to face the strong alone. The Hegemony War fleet appeared at the edge of the Cathara star system, like a dark cloud. 300 ships, each one built for one purpose, destroying everything in their path. For 20 years, this alliance of 3 warrior species had crushed smaller civilizations across the galaxy. War leader, Crushing Claw, stood on the bridge of his flagship. He was a Ravak, a species that looked like giant lizards, with metal teeth and claws. His red eyes stared at the planet ahead, covered in crystal cities that sparkled in the starlight. Another world of weaklings, he growled to his crew. This will be over quickly. But as the Hegemony fleet moved closer, Something unexpected appeared on their sensors. Ships were rising from behind the planet's moons. Lots of ships. "Sir," said his scanner officer, "I count over 200 vessels. Multiple species. They're forming a battle line." Crucianclaw laughed, showing his metal teeth. 200 ships of farmers and traders. This should be fun. At the center of the defensive fleet, Admiral Kim Dae-ho stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Shield of Stars. Around him, his crew worked calmly at their stations. Through the big window, he could see the mixed fleet of the Kindred Covenant. Spread out in formation, there were crystal ships that sang as they moved through space, insect hive ships that buzzed with the voices of thousands of Velinary warriors, sleek water ships piloted by depth swimmers, strange vessels from dozens of other species, all working together. "Admiral," said Communications Officer Lee Hai, "the hegemony is sending a message. Put it on screen." Crucianclaw's ugly face appeared, his metal teeth gleaming. "This is War Leader, Crucianclaw, of the hegemony. You have 30 seconds to surrender. Give us your worlds, and we will kill you quickly. Fight us, and we will make you suffer for days before you die." Admiral Kim looked at the alien warlord with calm eyes. "This is Admiral Kim Dae-ho of the Kindred Covenant. Turn your ships around and go home. This is your only warning." Crucianclaw roared with laughter. "You think you can threaten us, little human? We have conquered 50 worlds. Your covenant of weaklings will break like glass." "Maybe," Kim said, quietly, "but glass can cut." The battle began when the hegemony opened fire. Their weapons were powerful and cruel, designed to cause maximum pain and destruction. But the Covenant fleet was ready. The Cathara ships sang their war songs, and harmonic waves rolled through space. These weapons didn't just destroy enemy ships, they turned their metal hulls into crystal, making them brittle and weak. When the crystal ships shattered, the crews inside were knocked unconscious instead of killed. Velinary fighters moved in perfect swarms, like schools of deadly fish. Thousands of small ships attacked as one mind, confusing the hegemony's targeting systems. The insect pilots chattered excitedly as they danced between enemy fire, but it was the humans who shocked both sides with what they did next. When the hegemony focused their biggest guns on a Cathara city ship carrying 3 million civilians, Admiral Kim's flagship threw itself into the path of the energy beams. The Shield of Stars took massive damage, its hull glowing red-hot from the enemy fire. "Admiral," shouted Engineer Park Jin-woo, "hull breach on decks 4 through 7. We can't take much more of this." "Hold position," Kim ordered. "That city has families on board." Captain Oh Sung-won's destroyer, the Braveheart, rammed itself into a hegemony dreadnought to stop it from destroying a Velinary hive ship full of young warriors. The human ship exploded, but not before its crew escaped in rescue pods. On Station Alpha 7, Commander Park So-young's crew fought desperately to keep their damaged outposts working long enough for alien families to evacuate. When the station's power failed, they used their own body heat to keep the life support running for the children. Crucianclaw watched in confusion as after human chose to sacrifice themselves for aliens they barely knew. This wasn't how wars were supposed to work. Soldiers were supposed to fight for themselves, for profit, for conquest. "Why do they keep protecting the others?" he asked his officers. "What do they gain?" No one could answer him. The battle raged. For 3 days across the entire star system. The hegemony had more powerful weapons, but the Covenant fought like they were protecting their own families. Because they were. On the 3rd day, something broke in the hegemony fleet. Their ships had been built to terrorize helpless victims, not to fight enemies who cared more about protecting others than about their own lives. When a group of human medical ships flew directly into the battle zone to rescue wounded aliens from both sides, even treating injured hegemony soldiers, Crucianclaw finally understood what he was facing. "These humans," he said slowly, "they fight harder when they're protecting others than we fight when we're trying to kill them. his fleet began to retreat. Some hegemony captains tried to keep fighting, but their crews had lost the will to battle. Enemies who would die to protect strangers. As the last enemy ships disappeared into hyperspace, the Covenant fleet gathered around the damaged Cathara homeworld. They had won, but the victory had cost them many brave lives. Admiral Kim stood in his ruined bridge, looking out at the mixed fleet of human and alien ships. They had proven something important today. In a galaxy full of bullies, sometimes the greatest strength came from caring about others more than yourself. The test was over. The Covenant had passed. 3 years had passed since the Great Battle. The crystal monument on New Kithros, high into the sky like a frozen song made of light. The Kithra had built it from living crystal that sang soft melodies when the wind touched it. Admiral Kim Deho stood before the huge sculpture, his hair now gray at the temples. The monument showed the moment when he had first reached out to help harmony between stars. His crystal hand was touching a human hand, and around them, stars seemed to dance in the carved crystal. The words at the base were written in 83 different languages now. The Covenant had grown much larger since their victory against the hegemony. The simple message read, "From one act of kindness, a galaxy found its shield." Thousands of beings from dozens of worlds had come for the dedication ceremony. Kim could see Velinari with their shiny insect shells standing next to Trey people whose bark was covered in flowers. Water-breathing depth swimmers floated in mobile tanks, beside flying creatures with metal feathers. But what made Kim smile was seeing the children. Young humans played with baby Cathara, whose crystal bodies tinkled like wind chimes. Velinari youngsters clicked happily as they chased butterfly-like aliens through the crowd. A human girl was carefully feeding special water to a young depth swimmer in a small tank. "Admiral," said Captain Lehigh One, walking up beside him. She wore the uniform of the new Covenant Exploration Service. "The fleet is ready for departure." Kim nodded and looked at the 20 ships preparing to leave New Kith's orbit. These weren't warships. They were exploration vessels, hospital ships, and supply carriers. Their mission wasn't to conquer new worlds, but to find species that might want to join their growing family. "How many applications did we get this month?" Kim asked. 15 new species want to join the Covenant, Lee replied. "But we're being careful, just like you taught us. 3 of them still use slave labor. 2 others are trying to join, just so they can get our weapons technology. We told them they have to prove they really want peace first." Kim was proud of how carefully the Covenant chose new members. It wasn't enough to just say you wanted peace. You had to show it by how you treated your own people and your neighbors. "Sir," said Communications Officer Park Minna, the same person who had detected that first distress call years ago. "We're getting a message from the Outer Rim. A new species called the Gentle Tide people. Their whole planet is dying from a disease that's killing their coral cities. They're asking for help." "Medical emergency?" asked Dr. Cho Hai-jin, who now ran the Covenant's medical exchange program. "I'll get a hospital ship ready." "No," Kim said with a small smile. "This one is perfect for Captain Lee's first mission. Take the Friendship and 2 medical ships. Show them what the Covenant is really about." As the exploration fleet prepared to jump to hyperspace, Kim thought about how much had changed. The hegemony now sent ambassadors instead of war fleets, asking to learn about the Covenant's ways. Former enemy worlds had started copying human customs, like sharing food with strangers and helping neighbors without being asked. Admiral called, "Harmony between stars," walking up with its crystal body, singing softly. "The council meeting is about to begin." Kim walked into the great crystal hall, where the Covenant Council met. Representatives from 83 worlds sat in a circle, each one different, but all working toward the same goal. Today they were discussing something important. "The question before us," sang Harmony Between Stars as the meeting leader, "is whether we should help the Broken Wing Empire rebuild after their civil war, Hyquin ancient battles, now an old friend, despite her scary name, clicked thoughtfully. They attacked 3 of our member worlds just 5 years ago. Why should we help them? Because their people are starving, said Deep Current, flowing through his water tank's speaker. And because helping enemies become friends is what we do. The debate went on for hours, but Kim knew what the decision would be. The Covenant always chose to help when they could, even if it was difficult or expensive. As the sun set on New Kith, Kim walked through the crystal gardens outside the meeting hall. He stopped at a small memorial wall where names were carved in crystal. These were the humans and aliens who had died in the Great Battle, protecting others with their lives. Captain Oh Sung-won's name was there, along with Commander Park So-young and hundreds of others. Kim touched the crystal gently. Sir, Lee. Hai-One had followed him. Are you all right? Just thinking, Kim said. My grandfather used to tell me that kindness grows stronger when it's shared. I never imagined it could grow this big. Above them, the stars shone brightly. In the distance, Kim could see the lights of ships from dozens of worlds, all working together, all committed to the simple idea that helping others was better than hurting them. The galaxy had learned a new truth. The strongest shields weren't made of metal or energy. They were made of friendship, trust, and the decision to care about others as much as yourself. Somewhere in the darkness between stars, new civilizations would soon discover what the Kithara had learned that day when humans first chose kindness over fear, and the galaxy would keep growing brighter, one act of compassion at a time. The universe was vast and often dangerous, but it no longer had to be lonely.